Hello and welcome back. In today's video we're going to talk all about why you're not seeing progress in your weight loss and the real reason behind it. So I hope you enjoy. My name is Mark and I'm here to help you live a better, healthier life. My goal is to help as many people as I can get into shape and improve their quality of life. After all, if I can do it, so can you. Okay, so I think that one of the reasons we don't see the progress we need is we're tracking the wrong things. How many of us, I know I do, jump on the scales, once a day, more than we should, and we look at the number and we're either happy or we're sad. It either motivates us or it doesn't. But the thing is that scales are not entirely accurate. So not only could your scale not be accurate, but also your weight on any given day or any given time depends on what you've eaten, you've drunk, whether you've been to the toilet, your hormones, the amount of water you're drinking, your salt intake. It depends on so many other factors. Your weight can vary by as much as 6 pounds on any given day. Now, it is an indicator of trend, and it is something that I think is important for me, but it is one of those things that I've noticed I've been getting a little bit obsessed with checking my weight every single day, rather than just sticking to the weekly check-in, weekly weigh-in, and whether that's good or bad, it doesn't really matter. And I've noticed I've been doing that quite a lot. One of the things that is a good way, I think, and a healthy way to actually, track your progress is by your clothing. You know how well a piece of clothing fits. You know whether it's comfortable or not. You know where you bought it. Whether it's from a big man store or whether it's from the supermarket. Is it off the shelf? Whatever it is, you know how well it fits, how comfortable it feels. And I know that some of the biggest wins for me is when I could get into a 2XL shirt from a supermarket rather than from a big man store. I'm sorry to those big man stores out there, but I'm trying to give you as little business as I can. It's time to shop at other stores. I'm not quite at the ability to go into a high street store yet, because they are smaller sizes again, but certainly good old supermarket, 2XL, I'm very happy. Somewhere on the screen, if I can work technology, somewhere on the screen will be a picture of me in a coat. Now that was last year's winter coat, and it's huge. I remember when I bought that from a big man store, and it barely fitted. I remember the elation that was on my face when I managed to wear a jumper under the jacket. Now you can probably fit another person in there. It is that big and it needs to be thrown out. But I've got sentimental reasons for keeping it because I just like that jacket, although I'll never be able to wear it out again because my wife will probably slap me for looking dodgy as hell or wearing my parents' clothing. So weight is good, but actually without going to the pain of actually taking measurements, which I do, your clothing, how does it fit? How does it make you feel? Can you get into a smaller size? Those are really good indicators of how well you're doing. And it is really important that we track our progress in a way that is, as positive as possible, but also avoid my current little obsession about actually checking my weight every single day, because that's not a good place to be in. Because I know myself, when it goes down, you feel elated, motivated, and when it goes up, you feel depressed and just want to reach for some sort of snack in the kitchen, or at least I do. So try and move away from scales. If you want to be accurate, take measurements, take body measurements in terms of your chest, your hips, your thighs, etc. But if you just want to have a sense of how well you're doing, a sense of achievement, actually look at your clothes, put something on and use that as your motivation. Pick out the next shirt, skirt, trousers, whatever. Pick out the next one you're going to fit into next. I know that in my walking trousers, over the past few months, I consciously, because they were on offer, I consciously bought a 54-inch waist, a 52, a 50, a 48 and a 46. I'm very comfortably wearing the 50. I'm comfortably, but a little bit tight when I sit down, wearing the 48, and I know my goal is the 46 and below. So that is one of those things. Pick something that you like. Pick something that you're going to wear the next size of. If you can, and if you do buy something online and you like it and it fits, buy one the next size smaller, maybe in a different colour or whatever, right? See if you can have that as your goal. And that will let you track your progress, give you a little bit of a kick if you're going in the wrong direction, but it'll let you see something that's not just based on your actual weight. Because your weight is just how much you weigh, not how you feel, how fit you are, how healthy you are, and the progress you're making beyond how heavy you are on a scale. So, are you tracking the right thing? Are you tracking it at the right times? I know at the minute I'm probably not. So take a leaf from my book if you can. Take some pictures of you front and side, try some clothing on. Don't just rely on the scale. If you are doing the right things, you're moving more, you could well be getting fitter and healthier, but your weight might not be dropping as quickly as you would like. But your size might be. As always, if you're liking this video, please do smash that like button. It does help with the YouTube algorithm and it would be greatly appreciated. The next one I want to talk about, I think in terms of long-term lifestyle choices, is one of the most important, and that is setting realistic goals and expectations. One of the quickest ways to get disheartened is by setting unrealistic goals and expectations. And what I mean by that is, it is great to lose a pound a week. It's doable to lose £2 a week if you've got the weight to spare. But if you said to yourself, I'm going to lose £5 or £6 a week every week, and I'm going to drop 4 stone in 5 weeks, is that realistic? Well, it might be if you're doing something drastic to avoid a gastric band or get into a hospital bed as I did, and that's fine because you're doing something extreme. It's fine within reason. Because you're doing something extreme because you have a need to do it. But so many of us are guilty of saying, right, I'm going to lose 2, 3, 4 pounds every week, and I'm going to do that for the next 10 weeks in a row. That's great, and if you can do that, that's brilliant. But the problem is, if you've got a goal of 4 pounds in a week and you only lose 1, there is a big thing of disheartenment. You get pissed off and depressed over the fact you haven't met your target. It demotivates you. If you are a comfort eater, as I am, then that will just push you to the snack drawer or the wrong foods in the wrong amounts, which will then put back your progress, because then you've got to get yourself in gear again to move on. I know it's one of those things that it seems so simple, setting a goal, but you've got to have a goal that's realistic, something that you can achieve, and I know you can, right? It'll not be easy every week. Some weeks will be harder than others, but have a goal. That goal doesn't need to be based on weight, as we discussed earlier. It could be getting into a dress, a skirt, a shirt, whatever it is, for that special occasion. But be realistic with it. Set a goal and a time scale that you can achieve, because the more you achieve it, the happier you'll be, the more you'll stick to it, the more you'll achieve. It is that simple. And I think that although a lot of weight loss is about calorie deficit and moving more, I think a lot of it is in your mind, and it's whether you believe you can do it plays a big impact on what you're actually doing, and it's really important. So set realistic goals and have realistic expectations. So my goal is 1 to 2 pounds a week, but my expectation is not to put on weight. Now I confess it happened over Christmas. I put on a little bit of weight. It really annoyed me and everything else. But it is one of those things where my expectation, my minimum kind of expectation, is not to put on weight. I know I'm moving more. I know I'm getting healthier. I know I'm getting smaller. So the expectation is not to move up in weight, but to either stay the same or go down. And my goal is 1 to 2 pounds per week. Some weeks I hit it, some weeks I don't. But as long as I don't go up, I am doing what I have expectations for. Think of something like that for yourself. If I was to lose 3 or 4 pounds in a week like I have done, that's great. It puts a big smile on my face. But if I'm at 0, it also doesn't bother me too much, although I'd like to have, and the goal is to have 1 to 2 pounds every week. So, realistic goals. Set your expectations and work towards them. Okay, and the last thing from me is a big one, and I know I've failed at this a few times, and that is commitment. Now, it is so easy to have a cheat meal. I'll just have one night off over the weekend. Oh, I'll just have that. And I do that a little bit these days. But I don't blow it all on a massive 3 pizza to myself party. I don't go for bags and bags of sweets. It is one of those things that commitment is a key thing here, and part of that is mental and part of that is seeing progress, but some of it is just pure grit and determination. It is committing to this for the long term as a lifestyle choice rather than just a diet you're following for a week or two. And I'm not saying I'm perfect. You can tell I'm not perfect, but I've lost about 190 pounds so far in this journey, right? So I am one that is committed to this, even though I do fall off the wagon occasionally. The bit for me is we've got this attitude, or I know certainly I have sometimes have an attitude of, yeah, I'll get to it on Monday. I'll recommit on Monday. Yeah, I've cheated on Friday because I've had a takeaway, so that's the weekend gone. Now what I would say to you is that can you cheat less but still have the enjoyment? So we have a tradition in this house that on a payday once a month we have a takeaway. But I choose a slightly healthier option these days than I used to. We still have a takeaway, I still thoroughly enjoy it. But if I get a Chinese, I'll have boiled rice and chicken in black bean sauce or beef in black bean sauce, rather than Singapore fried rice with Hong Kong style sweet and sour chicken. Okay, so would I like the Hong Kong style? Yes. Is it about 5 times the amount of calories for the same size portion? Yes. Is it loaded with sugars and everything else? Yes. So I've chosen to commit to this by still having my takeaway, but having a healthier version of it. When I fall off the wagon, every now and again I'm playing computer games late into the night and I give myself a treat of a bag of snacks. But it's a smaller bag than it used to be, or it used to be more than one bag over the night with chocolates and everything else, and I just have the one. I don't write off the weekend. I don't go, right, since I've had my takeaway on a Friday, I'm just going to go for it and eat everything in the house. What I try and do these days is just have little treats that make life worth living for me while I'm gaming with my friends, having a little bit of a snack, but not writing off the weekend and not thinking to myself, well, that's the weekend gone, I'll pick it up again on Monday. The commitment bit is also by you, for you. There is nobody else really involved in this. You can have your wife, your husband, partner, kids, grandparents, doctors, nurses, looking over your shoulder. But the fact is that this is just your journey. You either want to do it or need to do it, or you don't. You're either committed to it or you're not. And I know that sounds like a little bit of a depressing thing to say, but the fact is that it's your commitment, and it is only for your health and your benefit. And the health benefits are huge, as we probably all know. From avoiding diabetes to just general fitness to playing with your kids in later life to still being here in later life. So there are lots of reasons to get fitter, healthier and lose some weight, but only you can do it, and it's a commitment to your journey. You don't need to be honest with anybody else. You don't need to open up to anybody if you don't want to, but make a note of where you are in that weight loss journal. Make a note of what you're doing that day, that week, and really commit to it. And don't just be thinking, I'll redo it on Monday. Because the problem is that if you fall off the wagon on Friday and rule out the weekend, and you do it the next weekend or every other weekend, suddenly you're putting yourself on the back foot, and you won't see that progress, and you won't see that journey going to where you want to. You'll still be tracking the wrong things and getting depressed when it goes up on a Monday because you've binged all weekend. So have a think in terms of your calorie deficit, have a think in terms of your movement. Track things that are important to you, not just the number on a scale. Use your clothing, use some pictures. It is really good to have that other support and things to track. Set realistic goals and commit to the journey. It is your journey and only you can do it. Thank you very much for watching along in this video. I hope the information was useful. If there's anything else you'd like to see or any comments, please do leave them in the comments below the video. And I will look forward to seeing you in the next one on Thursday.